AI is all the rage, autonomy is all the rage, Nvidia is raging the hardest. They've got some big announcements that just came out at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. They are rocking the world with some of their big moves, and we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what it means, how important it is, what this is going to do to shape the future of autonomy, and who's going to make money and who's not, and what it all means. If I'm going to do that, I got to bring on my guy Herbert, who knows a whole lot about autonomy, about robotics, about the future of AI. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futurasa. So Herbert, I don't know if you heard, CES is going on. Oh, you did hear that. Oh, that's good.
Of course.
That's good.
And I've been listening to Jensen Huang, watched all the videos and interviews that he's been doing. Big announcements, and we'll talk about how that might impact Tesla.
It absolutely might. And for that matter, it'll impact a lot of different companies and a lot of different industries. Give me a quick rundown. Who's Jensen?
Jensen Huang, 61-year-old CEO of Nvidia, started Nvidia many, I don't know what year, decades ago, well past 2000. And for years, it was a gaming chip, right? And to be able to use it for gaming consoles and so forth. People, just kind of said, hey, you're a gaming company. That's fantastic. Good niche industry. He's been saying, no, we are supplying the chips for this coming AI revolution. Nobody listened to him. Very similar to what's happening with Tesla. Nobody believes that Tesla's headed towards autonomy or robots. They think we're a car company. Same way. He was viewed the same way. Of course, he showed and proved ChatGPT moment happened and their sales took off. They are the darling. I think they are today the largest company in the world right now, Nvidia is, and they're backing it up with receipts every quarter, just continuing to grow. And I think just last week, Microsoft announced they're going to spend $80 billion in 2025 for AI data centers. A lot of that's going to be going right to Nvidia's pockets.
And Nvidia has fantastic margins. When you say that they are bringing the receipts, they are. This isn't just volume. This is volume at margin. 78% of their employees are millionaires, and half of them are worth more than 25 million. Nvidia is actually from the 90s. I know when I was selling broadcast electronics, they were one of our suppliers. I don't remember what products they sold. It was not in my division. I was more on the audio video side. Anyhow, I'm going to slap a like on here because it doesn't cost anything. So you guys should do the same on this video. So he did the keynote presentation. He also did an interview with Bloomberg Technology. That was great. But what we're really talking about is Nvidia signs largest car maker, Toyota, to use its self-driving chips. GPU King also unveiled an agentic AI software tools, robotics training framework, and a dedicated AI workstation. So Toyota's going to use their chips. Does this mean Toyota is on the path to self-driving?
No. Let me just cut to the chase. No. So in the this will be a confusion. There's going to be many people who watch the same keynote speech will come away saying that what Nvidia announced was an actual AI autonomous solution that car companies can match and be the Android to Tesla's iPhone, and all of a sudden autonomy is now a commodity. Everybody's just going to have a competitive environment. That's what they're saying. That is not what's happening. Yeah. Nvidia, Jensen Huang showed a slide of 17 car makers that they've partnered with. Guess who one of those logos was? It was Tesla, because that list is basically anybody who bought a product from Nvidia. Tesla buys the training chips that they use to build those data centers. So Toyota has said, yes, we're going to buy products from you. They're selling you the training chip. They're going to sell you the inference chip, which is a new chip that they announced called Digit, $3,000 per car or robot. It's actually at the end of the device chip, and then the simulation software called Cosmos. So these are just platform tools that Toyota and other automakers can use to now then start their process for heading towards autonomy. It is not the actual algorithm. It's not the actual, make your car drive autonomously. It's what you need as step one to get started. You also need real world data. There's nowhere that Jensen said that you don't need real world data. You take the real world data and then you can use simulation data Tesla has had simulation data, a simulation platform for years, 5 years and so forth. They've already shown that they can do the things that Nvidia is now able to show. But these are just the building block tools that a company like Toyota needs to do to be able to then get started. So yes, they need these tools. And so it's great that they partner with Nvidia, but it doesn't mean that they are all of a sudden a competitor. That's my opinion.
I get you. So what we're looking at here is we've got this. This is fun. Cosmos works in conjunction with Omniverse. It is the world's first foundational model, noting that it's trained on 20 million hours of video. 20 million hours. That's not very many compared to even what Waymo's got. So what we're thinking here is, and actually Waymo may have more than 20 million hours, but certainly not that many miles. It's great. They found a way to simulate driving in Minecraft is what I'm hearing. I think Elon had a quote that I saw yesterday, something about how there are two types of training data, real world and simulated. And simulated, the difference is that simulated could be faulty and real world is always real. I'm sure I'm butchering it, but that was kind of the point of it. So what we're looking at here, Nvidia gets key design wins, bring AI to future. This is trucking. It could be trucking too. I don't know if you can tell, but this has sensors on it. It's very sneaky, very well hidden. They really integrated it seamlessly. Key design wins for car makers such as Toyota, Aurora, and Continental. But like you said, and I believe it's in this one, there is a laundry list of companies that when you see it, it should raise some red flags. BYD,
Lucid.
Yeah, Mercedes. Now, they didn't put Tesla on this particular list, but when I see this, it says to me, they are definitely not in a active partnership with BYD. They're a supplier to them. We know that that's definitely, Zoox is definitely writing their own code, doing their own training. So yeah. And Wabi, well, that's great. I think that'll definitely take Wabi into the future.
So I'd heard a Tesla, or sort of an Nvidia executive, and what she was explaining was that we are a platform, right? We are creating these chipped hardware and the software and the simulation platforms and others. And the more information, more diverse information you can put into it, the more powerful it can become. And so it's like we build it once and it's used for any form factor. So a car, a truck, it can be for robots, humanoid or otherwise, Roombas and all that. So again, they're just the platform. Now, could they eventually take all that data? The critical thing would whether or not, let's say, these 14 automakers, 17 automakers, these 14 robot companies, would they then share the data? And that could be one way that they compete with a Tesla, right? Tesla has access to 7 million cars now. They're going to have millions of robots well ahead of anyone else building, the giant numbers of robots you need to build. And each one of those robots can have cameras on them. They're going to be able to track the world. That's going to be real world data that you can then expand with billion times with simulation data. How do other car companies do it? How do other robot companies do it? Well, they might need to partner with each other. Problem with that scenario, I just don't think it'll work, because there's always like one company that will have outsized more than the other companies, and they're going to be complaining, going, "Why am I giving you my data when you guys give me such small amount of data?" But they need everybody to combine together to get the bigger data set. Unlikely that will happen.
I can see Toyota being feeling that they're getting the short end of the stick if Zeekr and Zoox is getting the benefit of all their training data, when Toyota's putting up all the money for connectivity, for perhaps their own server farm and all that. So yeah, I don't know how that would work. And 20 million, yeah.
And people will say, okay, Toyota is a massive company. BYD, massive company. Yes. But how many cars do they have that have those cameras on them already today? Do they already have a data center that they're tracking all that data and the vision data? And so that means that they're really just starting from scratch all over again. They need to outfit all new cars with cameras. They need to somehow retrofit old cars. Meanwhile, Tesla's already 7 million cars that's all got these cameras. They've been driving for roads for years, and every year they're making millions more. So it's more likely that it's unlikely that Toyota's actually going to catch up because they have, you know what I mean? It's almost the opposite. Because they make so many cars, they've made so many cars in the past, it's actually an albatross rather than it being a, you know, a benefit.
And it's crazy. 20 million hours sounds like a lot, and I'd be very curious to know where they got all that training data. But it says 20 million hours of videos. Does that mean three-dimensional space? I don't know that it does.
YouTube.
It doesn't,
Yeah.
it probably is YouTube. The difference is Tesla could collect 20 million hours today. They could do that
in one day.
today.
Wow.
Yeah. Because all you need is 3 hours per car, and some cars, you know, not all cars are going to drive.
That's
3
the other
hours
point,
today,
right? So it's one thing to be able to capture that data. You need a massive supercomputer to actually house it. One of the reasons why Tesla does not grab every single data point that they've, you know, all of our cars, whether you're FSD or not FSD, all over Teslas is actually able to capture all that data. But Tesla doesn't grab all of it and upload into theirs because they need to have massive data centers and they need the compute to manage it. Well, guess what? They now have that. They're 10 times, they're exponentially growing their compute. So now they can grab more of that data from all these cars. Where's Toyota going to house it? Right?
They're going to have to build their own
data center. Now, you said maybe Nvidia will announce that they've got this massive data center that they're going to allow the automaker partners to use. Well, they can buy those chips, but who's going to build the actual supercomputers? Maybe Nvidia will announce that in the future, but again, they're really far behind. They don't have it.
So is this, you know, in the beginning, I raised the question, who's in trouble? And I don't think this is bad news for anyone necessarily. I don't know that there was any possibility of good news. Certainly, Nvidia wasn't going to come out and say, we have a turnkey solution that works. That was not a realistic expectation. Is this good news for Toyota? Bad news? No news?
You know, my perspective, it's no news. The reason is that this is actually not new news. We have heard that Tesla partnered with BYD years ago. We know that they've partnered, not Tesla, Nvidia has partnered with BYD and Toyota. They've been making these same announcements over and over again for many, many years, and we don't see it in fruition at all. So this is nothing new. The new thing that Nvidia did announce was they have a Digit, which is an inference compute that automakers can now buy. That's going to cost them $3,000 for both either the car or the robot, right? And they've got this new Cosmos, which is on top of the Omniverse, which is they're saying much more powerful simulation software. So that's more tools for these car automakers. The reason why I say it's no news is that if these automakers were actually making progress and they needed these tools to actually accelerate their progress, great. This would help them. Many of these guys are not even, they don't even have the ability to get started. They can't make money on the EVs, electric vehicles, and now they're going to cost them more. They're kind of stuck in a hard place. But hopefully a few of them will actually take advantage of this and accelerate.
It's tough to say what's going to happen, and I agree with you. It's if another company solves it today, it's going to be 3 to 5 years before they can field something. And the longer these companies wait before taking the first step, the farther behind they're going to fall, because Tesla is not resting. And I see plenty of people on social media who are still very negative on FSD, and these are people who have not experienced it. Seeing is believing, butts in seats. That's how you move units. Guys, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Do me a favor. I've got a 2-for-1 special going. If you subscribe to me for free, you can subscribe to Herbert for the same price. It's a freebie. It's a great deal, and I recommend it highly. There's great value all around. Everybody else, leave a comment, do what you got to do, and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots, in the robot uprising, I assume.